I've already warned you guys. Hi guys, it's Eric from Hong Kong based in Germany. I have been investing since I was 17 years old for almost 20 years. I want to give you guys alternative perspective and local insights about investing in Chinese stocks as well as in personal finance. Today I want to talk about Meituan Dianping. Is Meituan Dianping going to follow the footsteps of Alibaba? As you know, in the past 2 days, Meituan's stock price went down 12%. This is certainly not helping with ARK Invest performance, right? But what exactly happened? In the past weekend and this week, two major events happened with Meituan. The first thing is that a regional consumer protection council in China accused Meituan and its main competitor Pinduoduo for not doing enough to protect the rights of consumers. The second thing, which is actually the most important thing, is that the CEO of Meituan posted a poem on social media which apparently criticized the Chinese president. This is scary, because if you remember not too long ago, actually only a few months ago, Jack Ma made the same mistake. He criticized the Chinese government in public.
但是我们现在管的能力越来越强，监的能力明显不足。好的创新不怕监管，但是怕昨天的方式去监管。
And see what is the devastating effect to the Alibaba stock price and the company itself. It is quite dramatic to say it the least. If you want to know what happened, click the link here to see my video about it. You need to know that in the past 2 and 3 months, Meituan has been under heavy scrutiny from the Chinese government already. Such a mishap by its CEO during such a sensitive period of time is absolutely unbelievable, given the example of Jack Ma and Alibaba. So what actually happened? We need to look back to early April. Meituan, alongside with 33 other tech companies, were being summoned by the Chinese regulators. Why? Because they were asked to rectify their anti-competitive behaviors by the 13th of May. If not, they will face severe punishments, whatever it means. And Meituan was specifically asked to stop using their discriminative pricing algorithm and to stop offer overly steep discounts. And then on the 26th of April, media reported that Meituan is being officially investigated for antitrust behaviors. The second ever company in China in the technology sector being investigated for such matter. Let us not forget about the first one, Alibaba, which was fined for a record sum of $2.8 billion. And there's a risk that Meituan could be fined of up to 10% of its annual revenue, which is a huge sum of money. But the market was still pretty calm. And then last week, the state media published an undercover report about the conditions of workers for Meituan. Reportedly, the undercover official received only 41 RMB, which is roughly $6 for a 12-hour shift. And then we have last weekend Meituan CEO who somehow posted a poem on social media which apparently criticizing the Chinese president, which is a big no-go. So what's the poem about? If you're really in a hurry, you can jump to the next chapter directly, but I find it extremely interesting. It is a poem made in the late Tang Dynasty more than 1,000 years ago. The background of the poem is even further back in Qing Dynasty. Qing Dynasty is the first dynasty that united China under one ruler with the title of emperor. The emperor of Qing actually wants to crush dissident by burning all the books and trying to kill scholars by burning them alive. But at the end, Qing Dynasty was still being overthrown by Liu Bang, who was later the emperor of the next dynasty. So some interpret that Wang Xin posting this on social media is a veiled criticism of the Chinese government. Wang Xin since then deleted the post and explained that he was just talking about not knowing who is your real competitor. Whether Wang Xin meant it or not, the damage had been done. Many investors fear that Meituan could follow the footsteps of Alibaba. Jack Ma exactly did the same thing. He criticized the Chinese government, and then you know what? Ant Financial's IPO were being called off the last minute. And it was supposed to be the biggest IPO in the world in 2020. I made a video about it. Check out in the link here. And then the latest, on the 11th of May, Shanghai Consumer Council launched an attack on Meituan and its key competitor Pinduoduo for unclear platform rules and unfair fees for customers and restaurants. The council asked them to point out their own faults and to correct them immediately in order to protect consumer rights. You need to know that local consumer councils among most institutions in China are always government affiliated. And this kind of local authorities usually do not have the guts to challenge big technology companies such high profile. Why? Because this kind of national giants always have very strong connection with Beijing at the national level. In fact, it is almost unimaginable for a company of such size like Meituan to have no strong connection in Beijing at the national level, because they would not be able to survive. The owners of this kind of companies always have to build strong connection with the Beijing leaders. Indeed, the case of Shanghai could be a single instance, but it is more likely that is the local authorities smell the change of political tide and try to score some political points for themselves. And on the other side, it is also possible it's a coordinated effort by the state, together with the state media, with national regulators, in order to crack down on Meituan, which is not good news for us, of course. But if you watched my video about Alibaba before, it would not be a surprise at all. I have already warned you guys. So remember to subscribe now, so that every time when I update, you will get informed. Even better if you click the bell button right next to the subscribe button, so that you will get informed every time I post a new video. Okay, back to the reason why it is not a surprise. The Premier of China, Li Keqiang, actually made a speech during the NPC, the annual parliament section, where he explicitly said that the government intends to regulate the online platforms more concretely to tackle antitrust behaviors and to make sure that SMEs, small medium enterprises, and individuals would also get benefits from the platforms, but not just the e-commerce giants. The government intention is loud and clear. Meituan, together with its key competitor Pinduoduo, has seen their stock price drop around 40% in the past 3 months. Of course, it is not impossible that there will be a number of small rebounds. But I would say that the main rebounds would actually come when there's more certainty about the final penalty. It could be similar to Alibaba. Even though there was a record fine for Alibaba, there's no material impact on the company's finance given the size of the revenue. So I would imagine something similar to happen to Meituan. I would say that it would be the time to buy it for a big rebound when the Chinese regulator announced the final verdict. But for now, I think it will not be a good buy for the medium term. Why? The antitrust probe means that there will be more restrictions on its market power and even need to reduce the market share. In terms of profitability, imagine if the government asks Meituan to pay more to its workers, also to reduce the fees to restaurants and consumers. The profitability prospect of Meituan would be doomed, at least in the medium term. Therefore, for me, I would actually try to catch the rebounds when there's more clarity about the regulations and antitrust probe. However, it would be a short-term bet. In the medium term, I think the profitability issue would be a problem. So what do you think about it? Do you think Meituan would be the next Alibaba? Leave me in the comments below. If you like the video, remember to like, share and subscribe. And click the bell button so that every time I have new videos, you'll be informed. It will be great encouragement for me to make better videos for you guys about Chinese stocks and personal finance.